warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so hari ini kita akan belajar lagi dengan Dr. Sarah terkait dengan hari ini adalah teacher made videos, key principles cover. Jadi teman-teman di sini kalian akan melihat kunci-kunci kualitas video seperti apa sih yang bagus untuk pembelajaran. Apa sih kunci-kunci pembelajaran? Apa yang perlu diketahui oleh kalian gitu. Jadi intinya kalau kemarin kan adalah sebagai bentuk pembukaan, yaitu kenapa kita harus melakukan sebuah blended learning kalau yang pertemuan kemarin. Kalau yang pertemuan hari ini adalah bagaimana sih membuat video yang bagus, video pembelajaran yang bagus itu bagaimana gitu. Gitu teman-teman. Oh ya, kalian nanti bisa langsung berkomunikasi dengan Sarah itu apa namanya lewat chat atau lewat apapun. Nanti langsung atau direct conversation juga boleh. Itu kalian juga bisa langsung bertanya langsung kepada beliau atau kalian melalui chat. Jadi nanti biar lebih komunikatif aja. Oke, teman-teman. Okay. So so Sarah. So today we have like not that many as the previous meeting. Today we only have berapa? 31 ya, Atia ya? Mana Atia tadi?
36, Pak.
36, also 36 students. So it is more compact. So it's actually the real class is this. The real class is this, and yesterday there are 3 classes, if I'm not mistaken. There are 3 classes that joined in the first meeting. So that's why we have about 70-something viewers in our Zoom. So teman-teman, sebelum kita mulai, kita berdoa terlebih dahulu. Berdoa dipersilahkan. Amin. Okay, so Dr. Sarah, so for the techniques, what if every time you explain about 1 slide or 2 slides, then I can explain it to the student in Bahasa Indonesia or in Indonesian language? It's okay?
Say that again.
Okay. After you explain in 1-2 slides, or probably 1-2 slides, so I can explain it to my student in Indonesian language so they can understand it comprehensively.
Oh,
or what do you think? Or what do you think? Or do you think it just like go on, and then if they find something confusing, they can ask you directly. If they don't know what's the English of this, I can translate it to you. At the same time, if you want to say something that probably they don't understand, I can translate it to them with Bahasa Indonesia. Which one do you think?
Now let's go slide by slide, and I will be slow.
Oh, okay, so okay, you'll be slow, yeah. Okay, sip.
So I'll present a slide, and then you and then I'll wait.
Wait a minute. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So teman-teman, gini, oke, teman-teman nanti kalau misalnya kalian menemukan ada kesulitan dalam bahasa atau kalian punya pertanyaan, kalian bisa langsung chat ya. Dalam artian kalian nggak paham, Pak ini tadi maksudnya apa ya di slide ke-1, slide ke-2 itu maksudnya gimana ya? Gitu. Jadi insya Allah nanti Bu Sarah dia akan menjelaskan menggunakan slide, dan menurut saya she will explain it comprehensively. If you find something that for you to understand, please ask her directly or ask her by chatting at the chat box, so you can ask her directly in the chat box, and if it is in Bahasa Indonesia, I will help you to translate it in English. Okay, friends? Okay, friends? Okay, thumbs up. Well done.
Can you see my slide the right way around?
Yeah, I can see your slide. Okay, but yeah, you are in the center of the slide, yeah.
Great, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm going to turn myself off.
Okay.
I'm gone now.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so please, Dr. Sarah.
It's the technology I'm using. All right.
Okay.
So, I'll come on every so often and show you. Oh yeah, I wanted it to be as big as it could be so that you could see the words. All right.
Okay.
What I'm going to do today is give you some background information about this online, why we're going online. Whoop, hang on. Right. In Australia, we have mobile learning, blended learning, distance education, online learning, digital classroom, online teaching, homeschooling, online coursework, and now we have remote schooling. So this idea is that online has been here in Australia and has been worldwide for a very long time. It's not new, but these environments are quite different. Way you teach in these spaces is quite different. Now, do you understand that these spaces are different? Yep. Okay. I'm just going to keep going. Do you want to jump in and explain that?
Ada yang mau ditanyakan, teman-teman? Atau mau lanjut saja?
You right?
Okay. Probably
do I
continue.
keep going?
Can keep. Adinda? Adinda Putri?
Lanjut, Pak.
Okay, so continue. Keep going.
Keep going? Okay. I'm going to make
Okay.
myself a bit
Yes,
smaller.
that's better. That's better, okay.
Is that better? So
Yes, that's better. Okay.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Now you can see.
Okay, in the last meeting, I want to ask you, what kind of technology of software do you use? I want that too.
Very clever. Very clever, this technology. I have a big studio and it's got lights. It's
no
got
wonder.
3 big studio lights. Now hang on, I'll turn the lights off and then you can see. Hang on. And now I'll come back on. So they're professional studio lights. I have a green screen behind me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have 1, 2 computer screens. I have a very big hard drive and I have microphones. I had a very big microphone and speakers.
Okay, so I can copy it to my department. That's what you do.
We have these studios at the university.
Okay.
So
this is the university, not your department.
We have a number of studios at the university in different buildings.
I see.
So we have a number of different ones.
It's just responding to the COVID, or just in the COVID you have it one?
Say that again.
The studio are responding to the COVID, or before COVID you already have it?
No, we had it before. We had it before COVID. We've had them for about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and a lot of our work we've been recording video. Actually, 2017.
I see.
Yeah, so that's 4 years. We've had these studios.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Sarah, please proceed.
But a lot of teachers, if they don't have a studio, they record on their phone. They do a lot of phone recording. And it's the easiest way for teachers to make videos. And the other interesting idea is that they just use their computer and just do a screen recording. I use my laptop and use QuickTime Movie. So it's a lot of teachers are doing videos without big studios like this. This studio is just good because you can see me easily with the background. Okay. Will I move on to the next slide?
Yep.
Okay. So we've been doing online for a very long time. But what you have to remember is that online is different. May ask her anytime, please have through the chat box or direct questions. Yeah. Ask the questions in the chat and I'll answer them straight away. Because the more you ask me questions, the better this session will be. Otherwise, I'll just keep talking and, you know.
Okay, as a tutor, is it okay for me to ask you?
Yeah.
I'm not your answer
Yeah.
because I'm not your.
You can ask me anything.
Okay. So I can also ask you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great.
Yeah. The interesting thing is because I've really pushed the fact that we can ask questions, people are more alert when they're listening. Because I'm physically here, when I leave, like when I'm not here, you lose the human. And as soon as you lose the human person in the picture, your attention goes. And that's why I did that.
Okay.
It's exact so that you would go, oh, where's she gone? Is she really there? So having your face is so important. It is like the one thing that you can't not have. You must have your face in the video because we are human beings. And unless I see you, I'm going, are they really there? Like, because students love their teacher and they're used to their teacher. And if they don't see their teacher, they go, well, it doesn't matter. It's not the person who I have a relationship with. Through COVID, the biggest thing that we found out is that students just wanted to see the teacher. That was the big thing. They wanted to see their teacher and they wanted to see their friends. They didn't care about anything else. Because that's what you miss, because we are human beings. Okay, do you understand? Yeah. Thumbs up if you understand, like often. That's the best thing to do. Thumbs up so I understand.
That's the way how to interact with them.
So you are important. Okay, you are really important. Right, next slide. So, this is interesting. Hopefully I can explain this well. In Australia, we have teacher shortage. We actually don't have enough teachers. This is really an important push now to do different things in classrooms. We have what we're calling hybrid classrooms, high flex classrooms, okay, and virtual classrooms. Now let's have a look at these hybrid and high flex classrooms. For example, we'll have a teacher in a class who has 10 children in the classroom, but they're also teaching students at a distance in another class. And that's what we're calling highly flexible or hybrid classrooms. So the teacher is with their students and their students remotely at other classrooms. So why? Because say you didn't have a physics teacher at your school, but you wanted to learn physics, but there's a physics teacher somewhere else in another classroom, they could teach you. So we're having these opportunities where our students are being taught online at the same time as students in the classroom. Do you want to explain that to the students?
Oke, jadi teman-teman hybrid classroom tuh kayak simpelnya gini. Kita di sini mengajar, tapi juga di saat yang sama ada kamera yang ke kita dan itu bisa diakses ke orang banyak di luar sana. Tapi di sini juga ada kelas nih, kelas fisik gitu. Di sini ada kelas fisik, jadi nanti kita bisa mengakses di luar yang dari luar sana juga bisa mengakses kita gitu. Ya. Please
Okay.
proceed.
Yeah. We're also having schools where there might be 3 or 4 schools that don't have a maths teacher. So the teacher is somewhere else and they come and teach those 4 schools maths. And we've been doing that for about 15 years. Okay. So it's not new. We do a lot of distance learning, but it's just, how do you do that? Like, how do you actually have a teacher somewhere else and children in the classroom? And you do it through online technologies. And that has been happening for a long time. Now, virtual classrooms, this last one here, is where, now I want to see a thumbs up if you understand virtual classrooms. It is an environment where it's like Second Life or Active Worlds, where you actually go in and you walk around online. Have you heard of that? Thumbs up in the chat if you've heard of a virtual classroom like Second Life. Yes, no?
Ada yang pernah lihat virtual classroom? Kalau yang ada yang pernah lihat virtual classroom, boleh thumbs up. Oh, Erina, Intan, oke. Yang selain Erina? Oh, okay. I think there are few of us that know it.
Okay, so I'm going to put in I don't think I've got it in the PowerPoint. Hang on. Let me just check. I'm just going to come back now. Okay. I think that's, if you just look at this site, ICVC, IC Virtual Classroom, there it's a bit of software. So grab another website on your computer and just Google ICVC and give me a yes when you, in the chat, when you've done it, and I'll keep talking about it. But we have teachers over the last 4 years who've been teaching in this virtual space. It's where students can actually physically walk around and talk to one another online. It's a type of extended reality. Can you, people being able to Google it? Can you Google it?
Ya, silakan teman-teman di Google terkait dengan apa tadi virtual classroom-nya itu.
Does it come up?
Teman-teman, ada yang sudah bisa Google? Mencoba Google sekali dengan virtual classroom, kalian bisa lihat itu virtual classroom seperti apa. Kalau sudah bisa Google, silakan bilang yes. Coba teman-teman, silakan bilang yes kalau udah Google. Kalau udah kalian sudah selesai Google, silakan bilang yes sehingga nanti Bu Sarah bisa lanjut.
Anybody? Can you see it? I think I do talk about it a bit later.
Oke. Teman-teman sudah melihat yang virtual classroom seperti apa?
No, I don't have it here. Anyway, we can move on. But IC is a virtual space. So we're doing a number of different things in Australia in classrooms. Now, one of the most important points is this relationship between synchronous and asynchronous technology. So when should you do an online meeting, or should you put teacher videos up and do learning activities from there. And then when do you pop in and ask for a check-in or a synchronous class? And I talked about this on Wednesday, that teachers found that really difficult to work out, because one of the first things that they did was move from the classroom and just did a synchronous Zoom meeting as the lesson. So it was directly the same lesson, but instead of doing it in the classroom, they just used Zoom and did it online. But you know, they're the same. It's the same lesson. But online is not that. Online is asynchronous first, where you build the material and you get the students to work through the material and collaborate together, and then you come in a synchronous mode to do like check-ins and support help. So it's a different type of activity than just doing what you did in a classroom in Zoom. Do you understand what I mean by that? Do you want to explain that?
Ya, oke teman-teman. Jadi namanya sinkronus dan sinkronus. Jadi online yang dimaksud oleh Bu Sarah adalah jadi gini, mentreatment kelas online dan mentreatment kelas fisik itu berbeda. Kalau kelas fisik kita melakukan pembelajaran dan administrasi itu secara di kelas langsung. Sedangkan beberapa guru itu kelas fisik itu, kelas online itu adalah kelas fisik yang dipindah secara online. Itu salah. Jadi kelas online itu ada kelas di mana kita menggunakan LMS, if I'm mistaken right, we can use learning management system ya, Bu Sarah. We can use learning management system or LMS untuk organize all the materials, untuk mengorganisasi semua material sehingga semua siswa bisa check in, bisa melihat materi di situ. Habis itu mereka mempelajarinya secara mandiri, dan on the asynchronous, the teacher can, let's say, validate their knowledge by checking, memvalidasi pengetahuan mereka atau apa yang mereka pelajari. Jadi pertama mereka lakukan dulu di LMS, maka itu asinkronus ya, asinkronus. Nah, sinkronusnya adalah kita kayak gini nih, tapi fungsinya adalah memvalidasi pengetahuan kalian. Aman? Jempol, kalau aman. Aman? Well done, good. Proceed.
Right. That's so important. So there's two things so far. Human, us, and how you design the synchronous and the asynchronous. You can't just make a teacher video and think they're going to learn. You have to build around it. An asynchronous activity builds around, because a teacher video is part of that. It's a key part. So you can't just send teacher videos out thinking that it's actually going to help them learn. You have to design a pathway. Okay. Right. There's a lot on this slide, but the biggest thing is that when we went into COVID and remote learning, and we're still in that at the moment, we have I think it was Melbourne, had our students in lockdown, and because there was an outbreak. What the media kept saying was that it's never, ever going to match the real thing. Okay, so those words there, that the real thing of learning is in a classroom. The media kept saying you're never, ever going to be as good as classroom learning. So we had a massive deficit model. Okay, it's terrible, it's not going to work, it's not good for kids. That was what was coming out. And it's not true, because online is different. It can't be the same. It's never going to be the same. So it's comparing an apple with an orange. And it doesn't make sense. So you have to think differently when you're doing online. You can't think, oh, I've got to do what I do in the classroom, because it's not going to work. You have to think about it in a different way. And the media didn't get that, because our first response always is to do the same. It always is. So now we're going, oh, okay, how do we do it differently? And we're at that phase now where we're trying to work that out. Do you want to explain that? Does that make sense?
Oke, jadi intinya bahwa kelas online dan kelas fisik itu jangan pernah diperlakukan sama. Karena dua hal itu bukan apple to apple, but apple to orange, as what Dr. Sarah say. Jadi tidak sebanding gitu teman-teman. Nah, sama seperti yang kami jelaskan ke Bapak Ibu Guru PPG juga sama. Jadi Bapak Ibu Guru PPG juga kami bilang bahwa ketika Bapak Ibu Guru PPG itu mengajar online, itu jangan pernah men-treat online itu sama dengan kelas biasa. Gitu. Jadi ya itu tadi bahwa kelas online itu harus lebih efektif. Karena kalian keterbatasan media, waktu, jarak, dan lain sebagainya. Itulah perbedaannya. Gitu teman-teman ya. Nah, itu. So please.
Yep. So I put those 3 things in the chat that I keep talking about. And every time I make a point, I'll put it in the chat so you remember. Humans matter. We matter.
Yeah.
You have to think about synchronous and asynchronous tech. And it's definitely different to a classroom. Don't try to make it the same. Right. Right. Whoa. This is my animation slide.
Boom.
Boom. So I have to entertain myself sometimes. So what this was about, now this is actually important. It's not that I'm just trying to be kooky. What we found out here is that we can do it. We can do online. And a lot of teachers thought they couldn't. But we found out that we can do it and we're okay with it. But we're looking at now focusing more on student choice and what they need. Instead of thinking about what the teacher wanted to teach, we've flipped it over and thought, right, what do the students need and how can we give them choice when they're online? Now, this big thing going off in the middle was what is in theoretically our teachers needed a disruption, a big bomb to go off, not like a real bomb, like a shift, to make people have a change. So when you're looking at pedagogy and teaching, you have to have a disruption for a change in practice to happen. So the idea here is that COVID was a disruption, but it actually was a good disruption because it changed people's ideas. And when we now know that we can do it online and it does work, we're more focused on how to do it. And that's where the research is currently sitting. So before COVID, it really wasn't, the average teacher didn't think that they needed to do online work or could do it. But COVID, because it was such a disruption, everyone had to do it. And the experience itself, not COVID, but the experience meant that they found out they could do it. So now the teachers feel they have a little bit of confidence. It's all focused on how do I do it? And that's why teachers are making videos, why teachers are thinking about different digital tools, while teachers are thinking, do I use Zoom now? How do I use Teams? What Microsoft Collaborate space will I use? Will I use a Padlet? Will I brainstorm with the students? So before COVID, we weren't thinking like that as much, but we now know that students can learn online. It's how do we do it? So it actually was very positive. And that's why I've got it as a very positive disruption. So it's just making that shift. Okay. Do you want to explain that, or do you want to just keep going?
Oke, teman-teman, paham tadi penjelasannya atau tidak? Apa perlu saya jelaskan bahasa Indonesia sedikit? Saya ringkas saja ya. Oke, jadi intinya gini, bahwa pembelajaran online itu adalah, atau blended learning, apapun itu, percampuran itu, dia adalah sebuah disruptif. Disruptif itu apa ya? Sebuah kerusakan tapi yang positif, gitu. Jadi adanya online kayak gini, disruption. Jadi positif disruption, jadi kerusakan yang positif. Maksudnya kayak gini, jadi kita dulu melihat kelas online itu hanya sebagai sebuah wacana sebelum adanya COVID. Terlepas dari apakah itu yang ada sebuah kesengajaan dan lain sebagainya, teori konspirasi or anything. Tapi kita bisa melihat bahwa adanya ini menjadi sebuah disruptif yang positif. Jadi kita bisa membuat pembelajaran menjadi lebih efektif dengan menggunakan pembelajaran online, gitu. Jadi seperti itu. Makanya kita bisa penggunaan pembelajaran online itu akan membuat besok di masa depan bisa saja kita tidak ada kelas fisik, tidak ada gedung fisik, tapi kita menggunakan semuanya kelas di online, gitu. So, please.
All right. So when it hit, you can use this link here later and have a look at it. But I was asked by our national, it's called the Australian Institute of Teachers and School Leadership, about what we can learn from our experiences. And I just wanted to put this video in. I'm not going to play it, but at another time, I think you need to listen to it, because it talks about how teachers have changed their ideas around COVID, that we weren't focused on a deficit model, that we were focused on the positive experiences, what we can learn from doing teaching online. Because prior to that, it really wasn't a big thing. I keep going?
Yeah.
The other thing, and using that URL up there as well later, I made videos. As soon as COVID hit in Australia, I made 36 videos to help teachers teach online. And all these little videos are available to give you ideas on really how, like preparing your students to go online, key principles of online education, issues for students learning online. I made all these videos, and you can get them if you want from that URL there. Okay, so you can look at them later, but there wasn't a lot of resources available, so I just made a whole heap for everybody. All right, so I'll just go through some research, and then I'll present some findings of what we found in schools during COVID. So teachers during COVID redesigned teaching for remote schooling. They taught in virtual spaces, and they taught from various locations, and teachers in classrooms are now designing blended models. And that's probably one of the biggest interest areas now, is how do I use online in the classroom? Now, I'm just going to go worldwide, because I've been doing a lot of work in Europe, and they've had their students in lockdown for longer than we have. So we've been quite lucky here, especially where I have been, but there has been a lot of discussion through Europe about what happened. So I'll just give you some insights. All the teachers said that they learned a lot during isolation about their teaching and how to connect to their students online. that they used a lot of digital tools like Seesaw for the younger children, Moodle, Zoom, Teams, and Blackboard. And they created guidelines for parents. They created guidelines for students, and schools created guidelines for teachers. But what they found was less is more. And I said this on Wednesday. You can't get through the same amount of material that you do in a classroom online. Less content is required. You just can't do it. So that's why you have to mix synchronous with asynchronous. Putting a whole lot of content online is not the approach to doing online work. You actually have to intermit it and create a learning pathway where students are doing something with that content. There were a lot of safety issues because students, when you're video recording or the teacher's doing Zoom, a lot of the time you can see behind you. And that creates a safety issue for things that happen behind the person. So there was issues that teachers and students and parents had to deal with it that they've never dealt with before because teachers were in the students' homes. There was a lot of ideas around balance of work and feedback. So how much work teachers were doing in these times because it was new designing. Students were missing being in schools, and there was a need for a lot of parent surveys, and I've got some data to show you the results of that. But what schools in Europe basically were telling me that there was a widening gap. The students who could coped well, but the students who you knew needed extra support were the ones that were being left behind. And it was very hard to keep those students in a learning phase. There were lots of pop-ins. So pop-ins in real-time checking. So a lot of synchronous pop-ins were timetabled. That's probably enough. Yep. Do you want to touch on any of those before I move on?
So Sarah, the problem in Indonesia is that it is more complex than on your list, because in Indonesia we already have like economic issue. So some of students cannot afford for the online learning because they don't have the device.
Yes.
And some of parents are need working in the morning.
Yes.
So instead of the parents ask their children to join the online class, they ask them to working with them.
To go working with them.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the problem that I found from the teachers in Indonesia.
Yes.
And that's quite problematic.
Yes. And a lot of that happened a lot through Europe and a lot in other places in the world, because students didn't have access.
Yeah.
And access is, if you're going to do online work, access is everything. It's like access to school. It's like access to pen and paper. Access comes first. That is why now teachers are doing it in the classroom. Because they're teaching the students to do it. One, so they're capable of doing it, but also they're teaching them where they've got access and not asking them to do it after school. So it is part of the lesson in a classroom. And I honestly believe that is a really important stage we need to go through with our students to teach them how to use these online environments and how it relates to what they do in the classroom. We can't just send it out.
Yeah, that's the real problem and that also happen in Indonesia that, yeah, in here, if we talk about online, Indonesia, if we talk about online learning or online education, in the previous before COVID, it is like a dream because
A dream.
yeah, a dream. A dream means that it is beyond our effort to do that because, well, the first consideration is about the infrastructure that the government did not afford this for the people in here, and the second about economical things that happen in Indonesia, and the third one is about the insights of the teacher in Indonesia because they believe that learn at teaching is direct teaching, not online. That what happened. That's the issue in Indonesia. That's why in the current minister of education is really good. I think he imposed all the students, all the schools, all the educational institutions to do online learning. However, if they find any difficulties such as less of facilities, they can use blended or what is it like hybrid classroom. They can do it hybridly. So that's what happened in Indonesia, Dr. Sarah.
So just to be clear, because you the volume went in and out a bit, the minister has said that every classroom has to use online.
Yes.
And are the students in the classroom when online learning happens?
Some yes, some no. Well, I'll say yes because for those schools or institutions in city, yes, but those in the city,
Okay.
okay, but those who located in rural area, they reportedly that signals are the signals cannot be affordable for them.
Yeah.
So that's why they use hybrid. However, because they believe that COVID cannot go to the village,
Yeah. Okay.
so they do it like directly in class again.
Okay.
That happens.
I think we need to think about online, not just as students doing it by themselves. And online, there is in blended, there's components of online. And in classrooms, there's components of online. We've been doing digital technology for 40 years. So it's not new. It's thinking about how to do it effectively with things like a learning management system. How can that relate to direct teaching in a classroom and Zoom and Teams? But Teams has a discussion forum. So why would you use a discussion forum in a classroom? And at what point in the learning journey would you use it? And for what purpose? These are the sort of type of questions you ask yourself when you're designing online components. Fully online is totally different as well. When you've got a modular based learning sequence. So that again is different.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hang on. Is there anything back there? Oh, one thing I just, before I move off this slide, a lot of interesting things were happening because of COVID and the changes, that students were doing things like blended delivery in the morning, and then some would do blended in the afternoon. So they're trying different techniques. Teaching teams based approaches to year level and subject. So when COVID was happening, instead of just teaching your own class, they taught all the grade 4s or all the grade 5s. So instead of just, or teaching all of maths or all of science. So there were different approaches. Sometimes they'd open the school just for the primaries, and then they would go home, and then they'd open the school for the secondaries. Or they would just start going 4 days a week. and they'd have one day where the students would stay at home and do online activities. And that is becoming more common, especially in senior schooling. Now, that is happening more so in Australia, where our senior students, so the last 2 years of school, the students go 4 days a week and they have 1 day to learn at home. So they're not going 5 days a week anymore. And some schools have started doing that. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so why should we shift online? And should we keep that shift going? So this is some research from some survey work that I've done with students and their experience of learning online. Now, we know that we can achieve quality learning engagement online. We know we can do it. It's how we do it is important. But the important thing here is that some children like learning online and some children don't. I'm fine. We'll just keep going. Just keep going today. There is someone speaking though in the background. I think someone's mic is on.
Oh, sorry, that's me.
Okay, great. Okay, so there's some children like to learn online and some children don't like to learn online. But we know that everyone needs to be able to learn online. Now, this is an interesting situation because some children really don't want to do it. They want the teacher to teach them and they don't want to learn by themselves. That's a problem. They think that they can only learn when the teacher is teaching them. So I'm going to ask a question to everyone. Can children learn by themselves? I want you to write yes or no in the chat box.
Please, everyone. Bisa nggak siswa itu belajar sendiri? Oh, Dr. Sarah, you send the message directly to me.
Sorry. Sorry.
That's
I'll do
fine,
it
Dr.
now.
Sarah.
I'll do it again.
Yeah, please.
Can children learn by themselves? Yes or no?
Silakan teman-teman respon. Bisa nggak siswa itu belajar sendiri ketika online? Bisa tidak? Ayo Galuh. Oke. Aulia, Arista, monggo. Felix, senang menang wae Felix. Oke teman-teman, silakan direspon yang ada di chat.
Any more?
Ada lagi? Jawabannya yes, no ya. Aji, ayo. Rika, Mai Putri, Fania. Yes, tapi tidak efektif. Adinda, silakan. Salis. Well, mostly answer yes, I think. Novelia, Tika Indah, Ratna. Okay. Oh, well done.
Okay. The children in the survey believe that it's the teacher's job to teach them. Do you believe that it is the teacher's job to make a child learn?
Menurut kalian tugas guru tidak? Membuat siswa belajar itu tugas guru bukan? Membuat siswa belajar itu tugas guru bukan? Iya atau enggak? Membuat siswa belajar itu? Atau siswa bisa belajar sendiri sebenarnya? Maka membuat siswa belajar itu tugasnya guru atau bukan? Monggo di-share. Monggo dijawab. Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so in this survey, what we found was that some children really believed that it was the teacher's job to make them learn. And they didn't like learning online because they believed they could only learn in a classroom. That's where real learning happened. And then we had another group of students who loved learning online, who believed they were responsible for their own learning and they could learn online and in the classroom. And the biggest thing is, that in Australia, and I'm not too sure about Indonesia, but tertiary study at university is online. TAFE, which is our industry study, is online. And there are now a lot of online courses as a profession. So if I'm a builder, or if I'm a carpenter, or if I'm a banker, I will learn, my own professional learning will normally be an online course. So we have to be able to learn online. And if we have students who can't learn online and they don't want to learn online, it's actually a problem because students need to be able to learn online. So they need to know it's their responsibility and that learning online is part of what they'll need when they move into further education. Because at my university, I don't lecture anymore. I don't give any more lectures. All my lectures are recorded. I video every lecture and our students only attend tutorials if they choose to. So our lectures are always, so at my university, if you come to study to be a teacher, you don't attend a big auditorium where everyone's in the lecture room anymore. It's all online. And all of our content is online and all of our content is recorded. So our students coming to tertiary and coming to TAFE and coming to online courses, they need to be able to learn. And we have students in our classrooms who can't learn online. So it is a sort of requirement that we help teach them. And we say it's their responsibility to learn, but yes, we will guide them and we will create pathways and we will be part of that journey with them, but they will be driving the way that they're learning online. Do you want to explain that?
Oh, well, before I explain that, I have questions. How do you teach characteristics? How do you improve students' characteristics then? Attitude.
How do you, yeah.
How
well,
attitude, improve everything about that. How do you do that?
That's right. Then you know what? That is the hardest thing because attitude is everything. It's the same with teachers. If you don't believe a student can learn online, you're not going to do it well because you don't believe it. If you don't believe as a person that you can do it, you can't do it. That's why COVID and disruption, we saw we could do it. Not everyone did it brilliantly and everyone tried something, but we could see it can happen. And that's why I'm saying it's a disruption. Theoretically, if you expose a child to online learning and they have a little bit of success, the next time it's more successful. So it's about exposure and disruption. And that's a part of the learning. But it's also as part of our teaching, we have to actually support how to do it. Not just what, but how to do it. That is the key. So collaboration in a classroom is different online, but they don't know how to collaborate online. So we have to teach them how to collaborate. Do you know what I mean? We keep forgetting that step. We just throw content at them. That's why I keep going back to the chat channel, because I'm trying to get you to engage with me, because that's where the thinking is happening. Not me talking. It's about you. So it's about changing it up so that it's not orientated to the teacher, it's orientated to the learner, and I'm building their capability. And the first step is to put something in the chat channel, to be a participant.
Okay, let's me explain to them. Teman-teman, jadi tadi yang disampaikan oleh Bu Sarah itu intinya adalah bahwa kasusnya di Australia tidak semuanya orang suka online learning. Kayaknya kita juga ya. Kayaknya kita juga ya, wow, Atia gini-gini. Jadi kita juga ya, saya juga tidak suka. Tapi fakta menyatakan bahwa kita harus, dengan kondisi yang COVID terus menaik kayak gini, kita harus melakukan online learning. Buat teman-teman bisa lihat tadi, bisa dengarkan tadi bahwa faktanya di Australia pun sama. Fakta di Australia pun sama, bahwa mereka juga menemukan hal yang sama. Terus tadi pertanyaan saya adalah bagaimana kita mengajarkan karakter ke siswa. Itu masih menjadi PR. Gitu sampai riset pada hari ini. Nah, caranya salah satunya adalah melakukan engagement antara teacher and the student through chat box. Nah, dari situ itu kita bisa melihat kognitifnya bagaimana siswa berjalan gitu. Jadi tetap ada komunikasinya gitu. Itu kondisi ketika kita berbeda bahasa ya. Tapi ketika kita bahasanya sama, lah ngopo lewat chat box. Mending ngomong langsung gitu. Okay, please. Okay. Dr. Sarah, do you think that joke is important during online learning?
Say that again.
Do you think that making joke is important, making something funny?
It is, because we're human. You have to relax. You have to be relaxed. You have to make a mistake.
True.
You know, you have to be human. You're not perfect. That's what we love as teachers, because we're real. But we have to always put this persona on of being professional. It doesn't work online. And that's why on Wednesday I kept trying to say, guys, this is really important. Talk to me. Because talking is how we learn.
Yeah.
So make a joke, make a mistake, you know, say to the students, you know, put a hat on, you know, do something that they'll love, you know, they'll remember. I go, oh yeah, that was when she wore that strange hat, you know, so you try to make it personable.
Sure. Sure. Make it casual, yeah?
Oh yeah, I do some crazy things. Anyway, let me show you some data. Okay, some findings. I asked the students again what they liked and what they didn't like. They loved watching the teacher made videos. Loved it. That was the most important thing because I wanted to see the teachers. They loved watching YouTubes. They thought that practical tasks were okay. They liked the live sessions and the small group sessions with the teachers, so the synchronous activities. Hated textbook work, hated check-ins. Now, check-ins I'll explain in a minute. So if you think about that, the teacher made videos and YouTubes were where, well, the teacher made videos was number one. It was number one because it was the teacher, right? Now we know that's important. And they could watch it when they wanted to. That's the idea of asynchronous. Choice is important. When they want to engage, they choose to engage. Okay, so that's the whole point of online. In a classroom, students have very little choice. But online, they have more opportunity if you give them the choice. You have to give them choices. So watching teacher-made videos when they want to watch it and re-watch it is really important. You want to explain that and then I'll go on?
Oh, please go on.
Okay.
After that, I explain that.
The other thing is they wanted flexibility and choice. So some of the students worked intensively, then they had free time. So they'd get up in the morning, work all day, well, work in the morning, and then they'd have the afternoon off. So they'd only, say, do schooling from 8 o'clock in the morning till lunch. And then every day they'd have the afternoon off. Or they'd sleep in all day, and then they'd wake up at 12 or 1, and then they'd do their study. They loved that. They didn't have to get up when the class was on. So it was flexible and they had choice. A lot of the students focused on one subject a day. I'm going to do maths all day Monday. Then I'm going to do science all day Tuesday. Then Wednesday, I'm going to do art or whatever. And they often chose to work on their favorite subject first. So now we know that. And this is the bit that's important. We know they want flexibility, they want choice, they want the teacher videos, but they want it where it's flexible and they have opportunity to work through material that suits them at their time. Because in classrooms, we put a lot of timetables around them, lots of time issues around their learning, and they have very little choice. So online does provide different good opportunities. Okay. Does everyone understand that? Any?
Oke, teman-teman ada pertanyaan? Jadi intinya adalah bahwa kita tahu bahwa ternyata berdasarkan hasil survei yang dilakukan oleh Bu Sarah itu siswa itu suka yang fleksibel, suka yang memiliki banyak pilihan atau many choice. Nah itu mereka model suka kayak gitu. Jadi ketika kita membuat sebuah online itu kalau bisa kita mengurutkan materi mana yang paling disukai siswa. Tapi sepertinya itu agak sulit ketika di sini ya, iya kan? Ketika di sini. Oke, Dr. Sarah. In Indonesia, by the way, we have a huge homework from the government who made the curriculum, who designed the curriculum. We have a huge homework for the government, for the who made the curriculum, for the university or educational institutions, for the teachers, for the students, and also for the parents. Because of what? Because of in elementary school level or in below elementary school is what? Kindergarten level. When the teacher gives the students some tasks to do, who do that? The parents.
Of course.
Of course, right? So who's become smarter? Parents, of course. I don't know what happened in Australia. I don't know what happened in Australia, but it is just like that. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, look, in Australia, I think the parents were pulling their hair out because the students didn't know how to learn online without the teacher.
Here. That's the thing.
And this is the whole thing. We have to teach them to self-regulate, to be able to learn. And the only way to do that is bring it into the classroom and teach them how to do it. How do you collaborate online? Watch the video, then what do you do? So you're actually teaching them the skills because they don't know, because they're so used to learning in a classroom.
True. Because the paradigm of teaching is giving something in here.
Is
Instead
what?
of the paradigm
Yeah.
of teaching is giving something in Indonesia. Instead of giving, instead of the process of transfer of knowledge and teach the students how to study, the process that has been done in Indonesia, which mostly are the teacher giving the information to the student directly.
Yeah.
And well, actually that happened in a physical classroom. And most of the teachers today in Indonesia, when they have to face online learning, they treat the same things to the online learning. So that's a huge homework. Well, actually, the government already have a program like a teachers training program, or in Indonesia we call it TPG. So teachers training program in here, we focus on online learning, online-based learning. So we teach the teachers how to do online learning as the same as what you explained, using learning management system, how to do it effectively in class activity, what do you do in post-class activity. We teach them directly like that. We teach the teachers how to do online learning.
Right.
The fact is that all the teachers just know that online learning is just like that. They treat, so far they treat online learning like they're teaching online. Sorry, they're teaching physical classroom to online learning. So they just move it. They just move the treatment from the direct learning to online learning. So we still have a big effort for the lecturers, for the researchers in Indonesia to improve the quality of online learning, to make it more effective and efficient, Dr. Sarah.
Yeah, we're all doing it. It's not just you, we're all doing it. We're all trying. And we are. And I think when you said before, it's what students believe, you have to disrupt it. Like you often say to them, and teachers as well, it is your responsibility. You are a part of this. You're not just a receiver where I'm telling you, you construct with me. We work together. So that dialogue around trying to get students to engage and be constructive is one of the hardest things to do with students, but we have to teach them how to do it. And it takes time and it takes a lot of experience. Anyway, what's the next one? Oh, yeah, I already said that. All right, so I think I've pretty much gone through this, is that, it's the same ideas. It's not the teacher's responsibility. It's the teacher's to actually make the child learn. The child is in charge of their learning, but we have to create environments where they're co-constructing and working with other students. The key part of online learning, and it's not easy, is to get students to engage with each other. And I say that in a very simple way, but if you want good online learning, student to student engagement is the key. It's the golden goose of online. How can you get students co-constructing, deconstructing, reconstructing online? This is it. And there's lots of research currently focusing on just that one area. How do I get the students working together online? Not just a receiver of content. Okay, yep, you understand what I mean? Yep. Do you want to explain that?
Oke, jadi teman-teman, apa namanya? Ini kalian kalau misalnya ada pertanyaan langsung WA saja, WA lagi, apa namanya di bawah itu, di chat ya, di chatnya gitu. Jempol sih, jempol apa? Dijempolin. Oke, good job. Oke, jadi teman-teman kalau misalnya apa terkait dengan tadi pembelajaran online, kita pastikan bahwa model pembelajarannya itu harus yang melibatkan siswa. Tuh, student to student engagement. Jadi siswa ke siswa. Apa engagement apa ya? Apa Erina? Engagement itu keterlibatan ya. Keterlibatan antara siswa dan guru. Karena kalau tidak terlibat, kalian akan bosan selama pembelajaran. Makanya kalau misalnya di kelas saya, biasanya kelas online, saya selalu meminta siswa untuk membuka semua kamera mereka. Jadi saya bisa tahu kalian tuh lagi ngapain. Dan ketika saya tahu kalian sedang melakukan hal-hal yang bodoh, saya akan memarahi kalian saat itu juga. Jadi gitu. Jadi ya intinya adalah teman-teman silakan kalau misalnya melakukan online learning biar gak bosan, make joke, make an interaction, and engage them. Anything. Student to student or student to teachers. Please, Dr. Sarah.
Yeah, it's that idea that we become, now I keep coining this term, that teachers become engineers. They're learning engineers. They're engineering engagement. Your job is not to transfer content, but to engineer engagement. Now, there's 3 different types of engagement online. Student to student and student to teacher. So the human engagement. Student to content and student to environment or learning environment. So the students are navigating different types of engagement, but you can't just focus on student to content. You have to teach students how to engage with each other, how to engage with the content, and how to engage with the environment. So there's 3 types of engagement. And as a part of all that, it's getting them to collaborate and co-construct. A simple thing, when you're in a classroom and a child doesn't know how to answer a question, who do they ask? I'm going to type that question in. Who does a child ask when they have a problem? When they're in a classroom, who do they ask? Let's see what your responses are.
The smarter student.
Put it in
or
the
the
chat.
teacher. Oke, silahkan teman-teman, please anyone. Silahkan diketik siapa or your best friend. Yeah, we never know. Please,
I know.
everyone. Okay.
I've got the statistics.
Oh, you got a statistic, you got a data. Okay, that's good. So, people, silakan
Who do they
ditebak. So,
ask?
please guess. Or please answer, sorry, not please guess. Please answer.
They have to answer the question. Who does a child ask when they have a problem? when they're sitting in the classroom.
Oke, Arina. Oke, yang lain teman-teman. Silakan Indah, ayo. Kak, lendetan wae kayak ngono ki. Ayo. Ika, Arista, Adistiana, Novelia, Ratna, silakan. Galuh. Aji, Dear mother.
Full of wisdom there, mothers.
Who is their mother exists in the classroom?
Oh, well.
Felix, ayo Adistiana, Indah, Rika, Intan, ayo Atia. Oh, tidak ada yang jawab ke guru ini. Nanya ke guru atau... Oh.
Oh, yeah, okay. Just before you ask a question, you're right. They ask their friend. That is the first person they go to.
Oh, really?
They don't ask the teacher, they ask the friend.
Ah, okay.
Yep, they go straight to the friend. Did you understand that? Did you get that? What do we
They
have
don't
to
ask
do?
directly to the teacher?
No, they ask the friend.
Okay.
Now, because a whole classroom environment has so many different dynamics, the most common response is turn to your friend and ask them. Now, if we're learning online and they don't physically have their friend there, we need to provide environments where that happens. Now, ask a question. Sure. Do you want to pop on?
Erina, tadi katanya mau nanya, Erina.
Okay, am I audible?
Yep.
Okay, talking about the online collaboration for the student, like a small discussion like that. We as a teacher have to understand the student, we have to understand that not all students want to discuss. We have to, we as a teacher have to follow them up. And for those who doesn't give any responses, probably they don't understand the material well. So my question is, if there are some students who don't or who can't collaborate well with their friends, what should we do as a teacher, especially in online learning? Thank you.
Very good question, Arina. Erina, sorry, bukan Arina.
Such a big, there's so many dimensions to what you just asked, but it is a brilliant question. It really is a good question. And right at the end, okay. So first of all, when you create an online community, not everyone is going to respond, just like a classroom. So different people take on different roles when they're online. Some children who might be quiet in the classroom are more verbal online, or they might be better when they're typing. So children act differently when they're doing stuff online in discussion forums. However, every child in the classroom, do you really know they're always engaging? Do they really always? Because there could be this silent child in the classroom who just does their work but never engages. But what you do online is you notice it. You might notice it in the classroom, but they're a passive non-engager. Do you know what I mean? So your job always is, okay, how can I engineer it or create the pathway for them to engage? So the idea here is that you can build in some other structures or other opportunities for them to engage. You can directly or quietly message them like you would in a classroom because the thing is you can't physically go up to them like you can in a classroom, but you can send a message to them. And you've also got to remember that online, they're learning by watching, by lurking. So everyone's just learned because you've said that question, and we've all heard it because we're all part of this together. So learning doesn't always have to be actioned. Students learn by copying what other people are doing and by seeing and listening. So one of the biggest things online is that you can actually, students actually have to explain their thinking. And when you explain your thinking, someone else will learn by listening to you or reading it. So we have to change our ideas of what we consider learning, what we consider engagement, and we can't compare it to the classroom. So we're all learning different things about online. But it's not about just sending lots of information out and ticking things complete. It's about letting students engage in different ways, because that's what we do. That's how we are as educators. We try to provide a number of different opportunities to demonstrate understandings, not just one.
Erina, any response?
So you explained to us that we have to ask them like directly. Can I have a follow-up question? Like, if we want to ask them directly, which one is better? Like, we ask them in an open class, for example, like, Erina, can you answer this question? Or we have to message them privately.
You know your students, you know what they can, what their capabilities are, what their personalities are. You get to know them just like you would any other student. But you try a number of different things. But non-engagement, as in it depends what they're doing. But students are learning by just being a part of the group as well. So yeah, it's such a, what I don't want you to do is compare it to classroom. You have to think of different opportunities. Like synchronous is completely different to doing it asynchronously and watching their posts. But students will behave differently because they feel comfort levels. Some people hate doing exactly what you've just done. Come online and put your face on. You know what I mean? Where other students prefer to text. So it's about providing different opportunities, I think, and encouraging and providing the student to student, not always teacher to student.
Erina?
Yeah, understandable. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So please, Dr. Sarah.
I think, honestly, that's about all I've got for today. We're going, in Australia, we're going online. We're not too sure in classrooms what blended or fully online looks like, but we're trying at so many different things. And next week on Wednesday, I'm going to play a video focused specifically on key points for you to consider when you're making a teacher-made video. My PhD student, who is now a doctor, so she graduated, she got a PhD, is a specialist in online learning. And I asked her to put a little video together just focused on teacher-made videos. So I'm going to play that for you next week.
Okay, so guys, we still have 10 minutes. Do you have any questions? Oh yeah, I heard that some of you already have questions list. So please put it on the chat box. So Atia, so maybe you can put it on the chat box.
Now let me get bigger.
Oh, okay, you get higher, yeah. Oh, bigger. Okay, now bigger.
Get bigger.
Yeah, bigger. So please, anyone? Atia tadi katanya ada yang bisa di-share saja di grup. Jadi grup lagi apa namanya ini namanya?
Saya kirimkan semua Pak di chat room.
Dikirimkan semua di chat room saja.
Ya.
So they already have a list of questions based on the previous meetings. So probably they want to ask something. Wait a minute. Okay.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question and you have to put it in the chat channel.
Yeah.
What was the most important thing in this session?
Okay, so first thing first, you can answer Dr. Sarah's question, then I can give, I can translate some questions that ask you,
Okay.
Dr. Sarah. Okay, what was the most important things from this session, guys? Apa yang paling penting dari session ini? What's the point? What's your point?
Yeah, what's your point? What was one good thing?
What things pop up in your mind?
Yeah.
With finger up. What's your point?
One thing. It's a weekend coming up now.
Yeah. Okay. So in Australia, we're waiting for others' comments. So in Australia, do you have like a lot of holidays since COVID attack?
Holidays?
No.
No.
Do you have a lot of holidays in Australia? No.
No, we just have normal holidays.
Oh.
Like school holidays, but we don't have a special holiday for COVID or anything to do with it.
I mean, like
remote, as in lockdown or students not going to school.
No, I mean in Indonesia we already have we have like Islamic holiday, and it's about like 3 days before the D-Day and 3 days after the D-Day before COVID. However, in 2020, the government applied the same policy. Then the COVID rise up extremely, and for today, for these years, the government plans to dismiss all those holidays. So only one holiday for that on the D-Day. So that's why we don't have a lot of holidays today.
Oh. No,
So,
we have the same holidays as we always have had. And if we went into lockdown, that was in 2020. We had a month, 6 weeks, and some other states have had another 6 weeks and another 6 weeks and another 6 weeks in lockdown.
Okay.
Depends where you live in Australia.
Okay. Oke, teman-teman, so silakan yang mau bilang, mungkin Erina atau Galuh, Ratna, Indah, Felix, Rika, ada yang mau memberikan poin penting apa yang sudah kalian pelajari hari ini? Dari Wulandari, Arisya, Erina?
Izin jawab ya Pak.
Ya boleh.
So I believe that the most important thing from this session is we, as a teacher, we have to understand the students better, so we can apply different techniques and different approaches to them, so we can get more engagement from them.
Good.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Arina. Erina. Kenapa Arina terus ya? Erina. Okay, thank you, Erina. So, anyone else? Felix? Aristia? Sri Wulandari? Adinda? Indah? Sapna? Ayo. Or I just translate one question to you. So the other 3 questions can be answered in the next meeting. So for the
Okay.
first question, video pembelajaran seperti apa yang cocok untuk siswa pada era pandemi dan streaming lebih ke kontekstual? Okay, so what kind of learning video that is fit enough for students in this pandemic era? Which one is better, contextual learning video or conceptual learning video? Contextual learning video or conceptual learning video?
All right. Which is the better one, a conceptual learning video or a
Contextual.
contextual? I don't know what you mean.
Oh, ini yang nanya siapa ini? Adi tadi. Okay, contextual learning video. So here, maybe we can hamper the last questions, but what kind of video that is fit enough or suitable for today's pandemic?
Oh, any content is suitable. It's just how you do it. And we'll explore that next week. I'll really, well, Denise, as I said, my PhD student, goes through that. It's not anything that you could make a video on, you can show. So it's how you do it is the important bit. You know your teaching, you know your content. It's how you actually, that's what teaching is. It's pedagogy. It's how you do it. Teachers can do anything. Teachers can teach anything. So, yeah.
Teachers is the engineer, right?
Anything.
Okay, my last question.
Okay, last question. Last one.
My last one. So, in the video, learning video, is it important for the teacher exist in the video? Or
to be
just,
in the video?
or just we dismiss from the video? So just concentrate on the video that content the material. Which one do you think is better?
It's better for the teacher to be in the video.
We should be in the video. For the sake of interaction?
For the sake of learning.
Okay. For the sake of learning.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You hated it when I wasn't in the video. As soon as I went away, you went, where is she gone?
Because
as soon as you go, you're a blank face talking. Like you're going, is she really back there? Is she really? You do. It's true.
Okay. So because I thought previously I thought that let the student concentrate on the video, not me. So
yeah, but your facial expressions, the way that you're moving, it means something to the student. As soon as your eyes go up, you're pointing to something important. It's how we teach.
Okay. So that's all important for the facial things.
Yeah, it's
expression.
Yeah, because it means something that people read body language.
All right. So, okay, Dr. Sarah, maybe you have last sentence for the students before we start?
Do I have anything? Yes, I want a photo. So we all have to come on our cameras.
Oh, okay. So teman-teman, silakan kameranya dibuka karena kita mau foto.
Yes, that's right. Hang on, how do I get that up?
Okay, yuk, semuanya kamera on. Oh, well, you know what? The most interesting thing, because you said that we want to get a photo, so everyone right now opening the camera.
Yes.
Yes. Going to take a photo. Everyone is narcissist.
That's better. That's better. Okay, ready?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smile.
Smile, everyone.
Smile, everyone. Perfect.
Smile, everyone.
Yay!
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sarah.
All right. I will
Okay.
see you on Wednesday next
Sure.
week.
Sure.
Have a lovely time. See you.
Dadah, Dr.
Bye.
Sarah. Bye.
See you.
See you.
Bye.
Sekarang gantian gue yang ngomong sama kalian ya. Kalian tadi disuruh buka kamera, kalian tidak buka kamera. Disuruh foto, kalian buka kamera. Demi apa kalian ini ya? Kalian narsis. Oke, teman-teman, gini, yuk semua saya pengen dengar dari kalian apa yang kalian dapat dari hari ini. Apa yang kalian dapat? Lovelia atau Lovelia, Ika, Aulia, Alivia. Yuk, semua kamera on. Apa yang kalian dapat? Atau kalian, maaf Pak, saya tidak dapat apa-apa. Ngomong saya. Ayo, coba ngomong. Aulia deh, saya mau nanya Aulia langsung nih. Aulia, tadi kamu dapat apa nih Aulia? Aulia Nurul?
Saya kedengeran nggak, Pak?
Oh, dengar sekali. Dapat apa Aulia? Dapat hikmah atau apa gitu? Aulia?
Ya sebentar, Pak. Tapi tadi kan agak itu, jadi nggak terlalu yang memahamin banget gitu. Poinnya tuh paham saya ya, Pak ya. Kalau jadi nggak harus jadi guru, tapi kalau ngajar itu harus kayak memahami siswanya gitu. Jadi kalau mau ngajar tuh pendekatan ke siswanya tuh beda-beda gitu, nggak bisa disamain satu orang dengan yang lain.
Oke. Ada lagi yang mau nambahin? Aci? Felix? Putri Ayu? Felix?
Tadi ada beberapa poin, Pak.
Ngopo lagi ngomong saiki? Ngopo kira ngomong ket mau,
Nggak bisa bahasa Inggris.
Kan podo karo Erina. Kowe nek ra iso, nek Erina kan iso langsung, nek kowe ra iso ngomong bahasa Indonesia tak translate ke. Dan gantung itu. Dan ngomong.
Iya. Yang pertama tadi ada perbedaan antara offline sama online, Pak. Kalau yang offline itu kan berarti pembelajarannya di kelas langsung. Terus kalau yang online itu untuk mengorganisasi semua materi, kemudian siswanya bisa mensinkronkan atau mengakses semua materi. Itu yang unsinkron. Kalau yang sinkronus itu buat Zoom tatap muka kayak gini, Pak. Buat mengoreksi materinya. Terus kelas online dan fisik atau offline itu jangan dibandingkan sama. Tapi itu tidak sebanding. Yang online itu harus efektif karena keterbatasan waktu, aplikasi sama lain-lain.
Oke.
Terus online itu sebuah distraktif kerusakan yang positif, sehingga dapat membuat pembelajaran online tidak butuh gedung, terus dan lain-lain, Pak. Itu hanya butuh aplikasi Zoom kayak gitu, Pak, online.
Oke, boleh. Thank you, Felix. Yang lain? Ada yang mau nambahin? Felix mau nambahin?
Maaf ya Pak, nggak bisa bahasa Inggris.
Kan aku udah bilang toh teman-teman, kalian itu jangan takut ngomong. Baik ngomong bahasa Indonesia tak bantu. Yang penting di sini tuh bukan bahasa Inggrisnya, tapi ilmunya. Bahasa Inggrisnya nggak penting. Bahasa Inggris itu adalah sebagai cuman media kita aja untuk ngomong gitu. Cuma kan yang penting dari sini, dari Sarah tuh kalian kan gitu loh. Kalau dalam belajar suatu hal, ini kan sangat langka ya kayak gini ya. Maksudnya momen-momen jarang gitu loh. Nah, karena momen-momen jarang, kita gali terus orangnya. Gitu, kita gali terus orangnya. Maksud saya, kalau kalian ada suatu hal yang bingung, langsung tanyakan. Nggak perlu pakai bahasa Indonesia. Basa Jawa tak ladeni. Ya, bahasa Jawa apa-apa. Tapi nek aku bahasa Jawa, engko sing kudu wong Jawa bingung. Nah, mana kuwi teman-teman, yang kalian bisa bahasa Inggris kayak Erina, nggak apa-apa pakai bahasa Inggris. Kalau kalian yang nggak bisa pakai bahasa Inggris, saya mungkin bilangnya bukan nggak bisa ya, mungkin kalian malu atau kalian mungkin ragu. Jangan malu, jangan ragu, ngomong saja. gitu. Nanti kan saya bantu untuk menyampaikannya ke doi. Nah, nek doi jawab apa, nah aku tak sampaikan ke kalian, gitu. Oke, Felix? Ora takon-takon bantung nek nemeni Prof Tomo. Oke, ada lagi terakhir teman-teman? Kalian mau sampaikan? Ada yang terakhir deh, saya minta konklusi terakhir deh. Apa yang kalian dapat sama ini?
Menambah dari Felix, Pak.
Boleh, hati-hati.
Tadi pembangunan karakter di belajar online itu masih diperhitungkan, kan beda medianya. Kalau ketemu langsung kan kita bisa pantau karakter siswa gimana, pengembangannya bagaimana. Lalu online learning itu harus melibatkan siswa secara aktif. Jadi siswa harus terlibat langsung di interaksi terhadap materinya. Seperti itu, Pak.
Oke, well done. Sip, mantap Atia. Teman-teman juga mantap. Oke, yang penting buat saya itu adalah kalian berani nanya. Kalau kalian nggak paham, jadi gini loh, bedanya orang mau belajar atau nggak mau belajar. Orang mau belajar itu semua hal diterabas. Mereka nggak bisa kemampuan bahasa Inggris, ngomong siapa yang mereka tanya. Yang penting pertanyaan mereka dijawab. Tapi kalau misalnya orang nggak mau belajar, jatuhnya adalah mereka punya banyak 1000 alasan buat nggak belajar gitu. Tapi kalau mereka pengen belajar, mau ada rintangan apa di depan, contohnya adalah rintangan bahasa tadi itu, bahasa Inggris, tetap dihajar. Tetap tanya, Pak, ini kita ngomong ini. Piye? Oh, kan ya mungkin ya aku sing bingung translate ini gitu. Tapi kan apa-apa. Yang penting kalian pertanyaan kalian. Jadi kalian setelah kuliah ini kalian bisa tahu persepsi dari orang luar negeri itu gimana sih tentang online learning. Kan gitu, yang lebih penting. Jadi kalian tidak hanya melihat online learning dari persepsi orang-orang Indonesia saja, dari dosen-dosen UMS saja. Kalian bisa juga dari dosen dari Griffith, mungkin nanti juga kami ada online ya semoga saja kita nanti bisa membuat sebuah MOU dengan Griffith sehingga kita bisa mengadakan lebih banyak lagi inviting lecturer. Nah, itu nanti gitu nanti biar bisa lebih bermanfaat buat kita semua. Jadi wawasan kita tuh ombo. Ya, ombo. Jadi ini wis ombo, kok kowe pinter. Nek pinter, jadi dunia kerja sekarang mencari yang wawasannya luas. Nggak yang cepat. Gitu. Termasuk kalian. Ini Bu Kristina, Bu Tarni, Bu Nukti, dan Bapak Ibu dosen lainnya itu memfasilitasi kalian untuk mengombokan wawasan kalian. Ya, jempol no. Jempol nek sepakat. Jempol ya. Jempol kabeh enggak. Nah, jempol. Nah, mana jos. Oke. Oke, gitu ya teman-teman. Sampai ketemu besok Rabu ya. Oke, jangan lupa sarapan. Salam buat Bapak Ibu di rumah. Jangan lupa minum vitamin C dan jaga kesehatan. Oke, dadah. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.